with state-owned monopolies for almost everything. Until very recently, we have been able to break up the monopoly in telecommunications and also in insurance and also access to internet. For example, right now in Costa Rica, there is only one company with which you can make this phone this phone conversation. So you can only buy insurance to a state-owned company. We've been, with our votes, we have right now 10% of representation in Congress. We've been pushing very hard in order to break up those monopolies. So we, as a political party, we've been very active in promoting liberty and freedom in Costa Rica, and we have defended Costa Rica from the intention of the politicians to raise taxes. We've been defending property rights. We've been also trying to convince the Costa Rican to move to a system of Costa Ricans will be able to choose the school where they can send their children, or choose also the doctor that can attend them. And we've been fighting very hard for liberty, and for sure today we are a freer country than we were back in 1994, and that's because of the participation of Movimiento Libertario, of our party, and the politics in Costa Rica.
Are Costa Ricans surprised that the United States of America, which once was a beacon of freedom and hope, seems to be moving more in an authoritarian direction? I mean, I believe this started with Abraham Lincoln, but without getting too historical, it certainly progressed under George Bush, in which the Republicans shredded the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and it continues now under President Barack Obama, where the Democrats, with some Republican support, seem to be shredding the principles of the free market. Are Costa Ricans surprised at this?
For many Costa Ricans, there is no surprise, because that's also what they want in Costa Rica. For the libertarians in Costa Rica, we are surprised and also convinced that if the United States is the government of the United States is yielding on the defense for those civil liberties and individual rights, we in Latin America we're going to take the responsibility also to become or make Costa Rica a beacon of liberty in the Americans. Also Panama is also a good example for which we're going to be working very hard in Latin America to build a free society out of these countries. I am the president of the libertarian or classical liberal organizations in Latin America. We're about 54 organizations, and we are pushing very hard in Latin America for these ideas: private property rights, individual rights, free markets, government concentrated basically in providing a good judicial system and also a good security, national security system. But that's it, and we've been very successful so far in at least conveying the ideas. In Costa Rica, we have a political party, a classical liberal political party, a libertarian party, and we've been able to raise the support for our cause up to 10%, and we have a pretty good chance in this next election even to win the election if we have the support from all the fellow libertarian brothers and sisters all over the world.
Congressman Guevara, my colleague Shelley Roche, who receives all the tweets and emails during the show, has received quite a number from folks that wish they could direct their questions to you personally. So Shelley has some questions for you. Fire away, Shell.
All right. Hello, Shelley.
Hello. Congressman, what have you learned in your experiences with liberty in Costa Rica that you can help us with in America?
Oh, basically, Costa Rica is a very interesting case. It's a small country where you can test these ideas of liberty, and you can show to everyone that these ideas work. The public policies based on the philosophy of liberty can work. And you can have Costa Rica as a pilot project where you can prove in a very socialist government that these ideas put into practice can create a better environment for the people to prosper, can create more happiness, more prosperity, and a country will be able to overcome poverty and improve dramatically the quality of education, of health, of well-being of the people. And that's something in which we've been working.
You know, you used two very important words, Congressman Guevara: happiness and prosperity. Could anybody seriously make an intellectual argument that the socialists of Latin America have brought about happiness and prosperity?
We have, in many cases in Latin America, of different regimes, socialist regimes, that what they create is poverty and unhappiness of people that is not happy. You can start with Cuba, then you can follow up with Venezuela, Bolivia, Ecuador, Nicaragua, and you can mention many different countries throughout this last decades in Latin America where socialist public policies have been enacted, and they have created a lot of poverty, corruption, and unhappiness for the people. And we believe that what Latin America needs and what different societies in the world need is more freedom. Through more freedom of public policies based on the philosophy of liberty, you will generate, or you will create this environment of prosperity for the people. And through prosperity, you're going to have people that is more happy.
Now, I've read somewhere that you say that political participation is one of the most effective ways that we can promote liberty. Here in the U.S., we often have people who are willing to run for office but don't necessarily have the resources to do that. What advice do you have for them about getting started and moving along in the political process?
Well, basically what I tell people in Costa Rica and also in different parts of Latin America is that, first of all, people have to have the decision to participate. If people don't participate in defending these ideas, these posts are going to be taken by the socialists or the interventionists or the authoritarians. So libertarians should take positions in teaching at the universities, in writing articles for newspapers, in conducting TV shows and these shows like the one you're conducting. They should run for office. They should go take every position they can, because this battle for liberty is a battle that we have to conduct every day in every trench. Because the enemies of liberty, they don't sleep. They are always trying to get their liberty out of us. So we, the freedom fighters, we need to fight every day in every trench. And the political trench is one of the most efficient for changing the societies where we live and promoting the ideas based on the philosophy of liberty.
Congressman Otto Guevara from Costa Rica, it's a pleasure. We hope you'll come and visit us live and in the studio when you're in New York City.
Thank you very much, Charles. I surely will let you know in order to go and visit you.
Godspeed to you. Thanks very much. Jason Talley and Pete Eyre join us now. The two of them, wow, part of the Motor Home Diaries. Hey, guys, welcome to Freedom Watch.
Great to be with you. Hey, Judge.
Pete, what happened?
Well, I assume you're referring to our incident down in Jones County, Mississippi.
Yes, absolutely. What was your involvement with the police, and what did they do to you guys?
Well, we were driving from New Orleans to Nashville. We had a meetup on Wednesday night in New Orleans. We were driving to Nashville for Thursday evening. We got pulled over in Jones County, Mississippi, which is in kind of southeast part of the state. And we got pulled over initially because Deputy Atkins said he couldn't read our tag. We have temporary tags from New Hampshire. We moved there for part of the Free State Project, but we got pulled over. I was the driver. He ordered me to exit, so I did so with my license in hand, and he asked me how many other occupants were in the vehicle. I said 2, and he asked if there were firearms in there or drugs, and I said there's no drugs, but there's a couple firearms. I told him they were locked, disassembled, kept separate from the ammo, and he seemed all right with that. And then he asked the other occupants to emerge. So Adam Miller, the third part of our Motorhome Diaries crew, emerged with a video camera in his hand. And the officer asked him about it, and Adam basically said, I'm filming just to make sure everyone's held accountable. And the officer advised him to stand behind his vehicle, and then he asked Jason to step out of the vehicle. So Jason came out, and Jason was told to stand in front of the RV. So basically we were all kind of separated. And at that time, a second officer appeared and walked directly towards Adam with the video camera and asked him what he was doing. And before Adam had a chance to fully respond, the officer had ripped the camera out of his hand and cuffed him, and they put him in the back of a car.
All right, let me just interrupt you at this point. Where were you coming from? Where were you going to? What are or what is Motorhome Diaries, and why do you think the cops roughed you guys up?
Well, there's a lot of questions there. We were coming from basically the Motorhome Diaries. Jason and I had previously worked in the libertarian think tank world, and we felt we could have a bigger impact from taking our our message from K Street to Main Street USA, the message that